Yesterday, I ate McDonald's for both lunch and dinner, so I think it's safe to say I live my life a quarter pounder at a time. I guess that's something I have in common with the two movies battling it out today. These street racing criminals turned superheroes only have one speed in life:
fast.
After 9 films, have Dom and his team aged like a fine energy drink? Or have they lost that spark plug that kept this franchise going? It's the Fast and the Furious versus F9 The Fast Saga on Movie Feuds.
Smoke 'em.
Fast and the Furious started out with a pretty simple premise. Brian O'Connor, a young, cocksure cop, infiltrates the seedy underbelly of underground street racing to figure out who is behind a string of truck robberies. In the process, he develops a bromance with one of the best racers in the business, Dom, and even falls in love with Dom's sister, Mia. Eventually, Brian will join up with Dom's crew, and by the 7th film, he'll be riding off into the sunset. Comparing the first film to that of the 9th is like comparing a children's coloring book page to that of the Sistine Chapel. That might be a bad analogy considering the crowd I'm talking to. It would be like comparing Baby Shark to Fred Durst's masterpiece, Nookie. They're so wildly different that if you change the names of the characters, they would be 2 totally different properties. Here's a fast summary of F9. Dom and Letty are ranch hands now, raising Dom's estranged son from Fate of the Furious. For a film all about family, Dom sure shit goes out of his way to avoid his. Not only did he have a son, but apparently a brother too. One who is working for a rich, powerful bad guy who keeps Charlize Theron in the glass box from Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Meanwhile, Kurt Russell's character Nobody records a message for Dom and his team. They need to retrieve a bunch of MacGuffins before the competition does. The Tokyo Drift crew shows up, everyone is super skilled with guns, hand-to-hand combat, and a string of other things they never trained for in their life. That was like maybe 20% of the plot. But who cares? We're here to watch people drive fast and on occasion furious. It's about family. The first film offers plenty of that, while this newest installment is more akin to driving fast and preposterous. I would actually say it's fast and ludicrous, but that would just be confusing because there's an actor named that in these movies. Call me old-fashioned, but I like a story that makes even a fraction of sense. So strapping a car to a rocket to destroy a satellite orbiting Earth doesn't qualify. Fast 1's gonna take the round. Hanging out with the Fast and the Furious crew is like eating at Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family. But which one really feels like that, though? Fast 1 has Donatello, Punky Brewster, Female Muscle Tee, Baby, I'm crazy. It's been a long day without you, my friend. Black Hawk Down, and Motorcycle Drive-By. That was a Third Eye Blind reference. Subscribe. F9 doesn't only bring back the old favorites, but it even resurrects some, and offers some new flavor as well. Here they are. There's Mamma Mia, the personification of Red Bull, Live and Letty Die. Luda, Too Fast Tyrese, Han of the Dead, Fast and the Furiosa, Don's brother Jacob, who was never once mentioned in the previous 8 films and somehow grows 1.5 feet in his mid-20s. There's also like 20 other people in this, but I think that's enough. We can move on. Listen, there's no debating the impressive lineup the 2021 film brings to the road, but these cars have put a lot of miles on over the years. They're looking a little rough. That's gonna be another win for the Fast and the Furious, dog. I feel like the first couple Fast and the Furious films really catered to a certain demographic. I'd say that audience are bros that like fast cars driven by perpetually sweaty people tearing through the streets to some hard rock and rap hits. Things started to veer, or drift if you will, after the 3rd film, Tokyo Drift. And the franchise went through a bit of a tune-up, or a tune-down if you will. The simple racing for cash and respect angle changed to saving the world over and over again. There's plenty of racing goodness in that first film, directed by Rob Cohen, and if you'll allow me, speaking as someone who knows virtually nothing about cars, other than they have 4 wheels typically, and a steering wheel, I quite enjoyed me those CG shots of the inner workings of the vehicle. The awful dated slow motion, however, was as ugly in 2001 as it is today. There is some really shameless product placement too. I, for one, cannot stand that disgusting in-your-face marketing that some movies do. Oh, god damn, that's good nos. After watching even 5 minutes of F9, you'll look back on the original and say, things sure seem quaint here. While there is zero street racing to be found, the crew is still driving fast. They outrun a militia group through a minefield, pursue evil villains several times across different continents, and even travel at high speed in space! Nothing makes a lick of sense, and physics is a parody of itself. Dom slingshots a car across a large chasm. Cars drive up falling bridges. Magnets don't work how they should. And in space, no one can hear you drift. Fast and the Furious takes the win. Oh, sorry. I mean, The Fast and the Furious takes the win. Fast and the Furious was the name of The Fast and the Furious 4. Sorry for the confusion. This is a great franchise. Hey, you can't have the Fast without the Furious. That's the proper mix. And we're gonna determine which one has more of it. Since the first movie is attempting to be a somewhat serious affair with grounded storytelling, the Furious stuff seems a bit tame in comparison to the Transformer-esque sequels that'll come down the line. We do see guys jump out of one vehicle to another, but it's not done in a cartoonish way. F9 features mammoth amounts of logical leaps, where guys are effortlessly hopscotching around fast-moving vehicles. Sometimes they ride on top of trucks as they careen off the side of a cliff. Other times they fall off a car and onto another one that was pushed their way by a friend who was, I guess, cushioning their fall. You can do that with cars, you know, you can just kind of shove them sideways to other people. There are some scuffles in the first Fast movie as well. A few hand-to-hand brawls that lead to some hurt egos and fractured relationships. Let's go ahead and contrast that with the new one. We now see Dom sending handfuls of guys to the morgue down in the sewers. Dom has achieved the strength of a fully grown Groot who realizes that The Rock is a much bigger star than he is. So anger is really fueling that rage. Since Dom's whole crew has murdered arguably hundreds of people in the later installments due to their insane hijinks, I think I'm gonna have to give this round to F9. Those magnet cars alone had to have caused a multitude of deaths. That's about as furious as it gets. Cars on the table. That's not an expression. I have no idea how this franchise continues to survive and seemingly has no end in sight. Vin Diesel is getting dangerously close to being nothing more than a stone sculpture the studio can just wheel out to the next movie. There's your car, sir. The budget and spectacle keep getting pushed harder and harder, but the energy appears to be completely exhausted at this point. I have an easy winner here, and that's the first movie. And that's for the simple premise and straightforward execution. The true winner is possibly determined by you if you subscribe to Adam Does Movies and follow Movie Feuds. I put a poll up every single week, and this episode was no different. Here's how things shook out. F9, The Fast Saga, only received 13% of the votes, making The Fast and the Furious the winner at 87%. Sometimes we disagree, but in this case, we were on the money. Thanks for watching the episode. Like the video if you had a good time. I'm Adam, and this is more than just reviews. This is Movie Feuds. At this point, Universal Can you hear me? Fucking nightmare. Oh my god. This was not set up for this, folks. We'll get it figured out here in a sec. Technical difficulties is part of this. It's part of the live stream every time. Let's run the wire over here. Just got to get it out of the way. Is that okay? Is that better? Very loud and delayed. We'll turn it down a little. Is it still too loud? Is it still too loud and delayed? Loud as hell and delayed? I'm scared to talk. I'm talking really quietly. Okay, good. What's good now? The delay is good. I assume it's still loud. Okay, no delays. Is it too loud? It's good. We're hearing it's good. Oh my gosh. Oh. You gotta kind of roll with it. It's very scary doing these live things. I am used to doing a polished show. As polished as I can make it, at least. This is always scary for me. We keep changing the format here, so there's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve. I've got a couple things set up for this stream. Let's just pretend we're clean slate. We're starting right now, okay? Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. We have a fun show. We're going to be going over movie news. We're going to be going over some posters for Fast and the Furious 10, Fast X. We have some drama from the Little Mermaid video I posted a little while back. And we are going to be doing some Q&A at the end. Maybe like, hey, Adam, why do you suck? Those are super chat friendly. So if you have $1 or $5 to throw at the super chat, I would appreciate it. Let's start with the news as long as everything sounds okay. I feel like I had something else I was saying before this when you didn't hear me, but whatever. We'll get back to it. First piece of news is you should follow me on social media. My wife Lindsay, that's what I was gonna say. That's what I was saying before. Hang on, I gotta juice up. I was gonna think of another ice pun, but it's too late in the day. I'm too tired. Lindsay, my wife, has been feeling a little better lately, which is both a gift and a curse for me because she's decided to helm my social media that I haven't been doing. I've neglected for ever. Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. Kind of falling under her umbrella now, so she's been kind of hounding me every day like a second boss because I have a real job, saying, Adam, you have to do shorts. You have to do day in the life videos. People like them. It humanizes you. They don't look at you as the sarcastic monster that everyone knows you as. These make people think, hey, maybe this guy's not all bad. So I've been doing those every night. I have another one I have to do after this stream. They don't take me long, and maybe I'll do it on the stream with you guys at the end. We'll see how it goes. Maybe that'll be a nice feather in the cap of this shit show of a stream already. what I was getting at was follow me on those social medias if you have them, if you use them. Facebook, Adam Does Movies. If you're on that dumpster fire, it's active. Instagram, Adam Does Movies. There might be a little underscore because someone else owns the main name for some reason. I don't know why. People do what they do. Twitter, I'm pretty active on there. I'm always on there talking crap, looking at movie news, trailers, whatnot. And then TikTok, of course. The TikTok and Adam Does Movies shorts on YouTube, those are kind of getting more curated now for those platforms. They're less snippets from the shows, cut down to 60 seconds, and more so the day in the life ofs, the after movie theater reactions. I did one with my son Connor recently that got 20,000 views. So people seem to like those raw, uncut, more pure, I guess, reaction videos that are not as edited up. Look for more of those types. I know some people have said, Adam, you need to do more car side reviews. I really like those. Well, I can only do so many show types. I'm really focusing on just the one format where I talk to the camera in this same studio setting. That seems to work well. The car side review format is basically going to be what the shorts are now going forward. When I see a movie, I will react to the movie afterwards. So you get a little taste, little teaser to the full review when I get to it. I think that's a best of both worlds scenario. Social media follow, and also Spotify. I'm on Spotify. The Adam Does Movies podcast goes out every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at 8 in the morning. I will be doing the live, what do they call them, premieres on YouTube. The premieres are at 9 p.m. that same day. So the podcast goes out earlier in the morning for people that don't need to see me and they just want to listen to it. But if you want to be more interactive, they go out at 9 p.m. on YouTube. And I'm usually in the chat while I'm, making, I guess I'm not making dinner at 9 p.m. I don't know what I'm doing. Editing or something. It's always working. That's my life. That's my life now. Welcome to middle age. It's really fun. What else is there? I think that's it for the social stuff. So let's talk about the first piece of news, unless there's any major issues going on. Let me bring up the comments one more time because you just never know what you're getting. Oh my God, there's super chats coming in already. I wasn't expecting that. Internet guy says, here's $2. Don't mess this up. Internet guy must have just joined and he didn't see the first 5 minutes of the show. So we'll just keep it quiet. Thank you, Internet guy. Jan Rose. Been loving the Instagram shorts. So funny. It makes my day. Keep them coming. Oh, great. I know Lindsay's watching and she's going to double her efforts. Yep. See, she's already in there. Ugh. I might not just go. I might sleep down here tonight. Otherwise, I'm going to hear a "I told you so" from her. All right, first piece of news. Blade. Remember Blade? The movie that came out in the, late 90s, the first one? Wesley Snipes. Ron Perlman shows up in the sequel. Awesome movies, the first two. Blade Trinity, we don't talk about Blade Trinity. Although I wonder if I watch it now, if it's as bad as I remember. Probably worse. There's a new Blade that's been in the works for what feels like an eternity. And more news comes out, I swear, every day on this film. What is going on with it? I'm going to bring up the most recent article I saw, Tech Radar. I'm not sure why they're doing movie information. It looks like they focus on ChatGPT and iPhone 15. But yeah, there's a entertainment section of this website because why not? This is by Tom Power. So if anything is incorrect, we turn to Tom Power. He's got some answering to do. That's a great name, Tom Power. Let me take a drink of Coke before I dive into this article. Marvel Studios' Blade movie is in serious trouble. If that's not a catchy tagline, I don't know what is. That's a headline and a half. With multiple reports suggesting development has stalled 2 months before filming begins. The Marvel Phase 5 project, which is currently slated to release in theaters November 2023, was set to enter full production shortly. However, Blade is in danger of missing its launch date altogether after director Bassam Tariq, apologize if I butchered that, left the superhero flick just 2 months before shooting was going to start. Oof. In a statement provided by Marvel, continued shifts in our production schedule was a major reason behind Tariq's departure. There's a new director, Mogul Mowgli, I don't know, is still expected to be credited as an executive producer. Oh, I'm sorry. The Mogul Mog. I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of that means, but I guess he's a producer on it. Speaking to THR, that must be Tech Radar, Marvel thanked Tariq for putting in the hard yards. It seems that the studio and director have parted on good terms. That's nice to hear. He didn't even make the movie. You know, this happened with Edgar Wright, too. Edgar eventually bailed because studio interference. He was frustrated by how long it was taking to do Ant-Man. And Edgar Wright's movie would have been freaking awesome. And you can definitely see his vision in that movie still. There's lots of little snippets. I just think he was a little too off-brand for Marvel. Let's see what else. According to the industry insider, Jeff Snyder, Blade's script is not in a good place. The Ankler reporter has claimed that the movie screenplay is just 90 pages long and contains 2 lackluster action sequences. At this point, how hard is it to make these superhero movie scripts anymore? Everybody knows you have 3 major fight scenes, a beginning, a middle, and end. The beginning starts out with the superhero either A, getting his powers, or introducing the character for the first time about said powers that he already has. The middle of the movie has the big bad rising to full strength, knocking our hero down a peg. He's got love issues. He's got some personal struggles to overcome. And then by the third act, he gets his shit together just in time to stop the bad guy from doing his final bad guy deeds. It is so simple. Formulaic? Yes. But, I mean, we're looking at a 90-page script with 2 fight scenes? Come on! This is MCU, baby! You got all the money and the resources you need. All the green screens at your disposal. That's crazy. Alright, what else do we got here? Per Murphy's Multiverse, Bo DeMayo, whose previous credits include Netflix's TV adaptation of The Witcher, has been drafted in to rewrite the script. I like The Witcher. Season 1 was really freaking good. Season 2, not as good, but I still enjoyed it. I don't have any desire to watch Season 3 knowing that Henry Cavill's no longer going to be playing The Witcher in Season 4. That pisses me off. DeMayo has also penned scripts for Moon Knight on Disney+, gross, as well as Marvel's forthcoming X-Men 97 animated series. Okay. So the film should be in good hands if he's involved. It's unclear if former scribe Stacy Osai Kufer is still on board, with DeMayo being drafted in to spruce up the script. Yeah, X-Men 97 was put on a little hold as well. I believe it was supposed to come out this year, and now it's looking like 2024. Additionally, big screen leaks and the Cosmic Circus, who are these people, claim that Blade won't enter full production until January 2023, just 10 months before it's supposed to be released. That's not good. Yeah, that's really bad. Wow. Okay, well, that's the news on Blade. I'm not gonna lie, that's disheartening. But also, I like Wesley Snipes as Blade. That's what I remember. Not saying they can't make another version that's better, but those hard R Blade movies were freaking great. I wouldn't mind him just doing another Wesley Snipes Blade movie. Doesn't need to be tied to the MCU. Or it kind of can be, since we're multiversing everything. Just do like some slight nods to it, but continue with Wesley Snipes Blade. I know he's older, but he's got to still be able to kick ass, right? Wesley Snipes is a pretty in shape dude, last time I checked. And he just has that charisma about him. All right, what else do we got for news? Ah, yes. Someone must have said BeetleJuice 3 times because we have a sequel coming out in 2024. Yeah. All right, this news is coming from Variety. Rebecca Rubin, May 9th, 2023. That's today, folks. This is as up to date as you could possibly get. Whether or not you say his name 3 times, oh, so I have zero creativity. She started out with the same exact joke. BeetleJuice is returning to movie theaters next year. Warner Brothers has announced that BeetleJuice 2 will be released on the big screen September 6, 2024. It opens the same day as Marvel's Blade. What? What is going on? I just randomly picked 2 topics today, and they're both like married to one another. What an amazing thing we're doing right now. Okay, so it looks like we have some competition. But I'm going to guess Blade doesn't come out in September. I'm guessing that Blade's going to get pushed. So this is like a no, this isn't a story right now. Not yet. Okay, anyway, let's move on. It opens on the same day as Marvel's Blade, a comic book adventure starring, we know what Blade is. Let's move on. There's little information available about the follow-up, Tim Burton's 1988 film about a pesky poltergeist, but the filmmaker is returning with Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. Did they not see? Oh yeah, they did. Okay. Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice and Winona Ryder as Lydia. Yes. Additional cast members include Wednesday star Jenna Ortega as the daughter of Winona Ryder's character, as well as Justin Theroux in a yet-to-be-revealed role. Can't talk. Production is expected to commence in London May 10th. That's tomorrow. Brad Pitt's Plan B is producing BeetleJuice 2. Interesting. I don't know what Brad Pitt, he did the Ad Astra movie, or Ad Astra. That was decent. That was a decent movie. I think it kind of bombed at the theaters, so I'm not sure what he's made money on for his Plan B production studio, but I don't know much about it. In the first film, a recently deceased married couple, played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin. Oh, now they're just going to tell us what Beetlejuice 1 is about, because you have to pay. They're doing their job. Beetlejuice grossed $74.7 million at the box office. And there's a stage musical now. Oh no, I'm sorry, the musical's done. It had a 4-year run and was interrupted and ruined by the pandemic. So the big takeaway there is Jenna Ortega, Hollywood it girl right now, is going to be in the Beetlejuice sequel. She'll probably have a very meaty role in that. Hope you guys are excited. I know I'm not. Internet Guy's back with another powerful $2 super chat. He says, 100% chance both sequels are hot garbage. Well, I mean, they're not both sequels. I'm not sure what you mean by both. The new Blade movie's not a sequel. That's a straight up refresh. That's a brand new movie. That's a reboot. I think that's what you mean. $2 super chat me if I'm right. $10 super chat me if I'm wrong. What do we got? What else do we got? Oh, the one that I have on the cover of this live stream today. A certain fan base is going to be just absolutely creaming about this. According to Giant Freaking Robot, which is a website, Alita Battle Angel 2 is happening, baby! Sequel confirmed. I'm not sure it is, to be honest. That's why I put a question mark. They're saying it is, but if I recall, it's in like pre-production. There's no script or anything. There's basically like a thumb sideways. But let's see what this guy says. Skylar Gibby Brown. Skylar, S-C-K-Y-L-A-R. That might be a girl. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. Let me click on the name and see. I mean, I would imagine it's a girl. Skylar. I did know a guy in high school named Sky, which is a sweet name for a guy. It's a woman. Okay, Skylar Gibby Brown with the article. It's been nearly 5 years since Alita Battle Angel was released, and after years of begging is an understatement if you're on Twitter, they have been exhausting. It's the Snyder cult. The Snyder cult loves Zack Snyder, everything he's ever done. They hate James Gunn because it's not Zack Snyder. James Gunn took everything from Snyder, I guess, even though it wasn't his fault. And they love Alita Battle Angel. They freaking love Alita Battle Angel. I'm not going to get into the logistics of why. I can only imagine there's some weird reasons why, but me personally, I enjoyed Alita. My family enjoyed the movie. It was fun, cool sci-fi. We're a sucker for sci-fi film. Some really sweet CG stuff. Good performances. You have James Cameron in the wings helping out. Anyway, let's continue. Well, let's really just start. It's been nearly 5 years since Alita Battle Angel was released, and after years of begging, the fans are finally getting a sequel to the Rosa Salazar-led sci-fi adventure. Rosa Salazar, I think, is the actress that plays Alita. Yeah, that's what "led" means, unless it's a director. That's the actress. Oh, the director is Robert Rodriguez. Let's see. In an interview covered by Screen Geek, producer John Landau has confirmed that Alita Battle Angel 2 isn't just on its way, it's already in the works. And that's thanks to Avatar. Everyone owes everything to Avatar. Like, we just got like random headphones right here. This is really decorated up the set for you guys tonight. Could have put anything over there, but it's just thrown headphones, wired, to add insult to injury. Anyway, it's kind of funny that the Avatar franchise is responsible for Alita Battle Angel 2 officially getting greenlit. Look at the SEO there. I love knowing this stuff, so it's just, you would never talk like this or even normally write like this unless you were going for keywords. It's kind of funny that the Avatar franchise is responsible for Alita 2 Battle Angel 2 officially getting greenlit because Avatar 2 is what put the sequel on the back burner in the first place. But according to Landau, there was a certain cycle that had to be followed as creators learned more about creating realistic CGI leading characters. Creators creating in the same sentence, I don't like that. Creators building, manipulating. There's other words you could have used, right? I think what we learned from Avatar is how much more facial nuance and subtlety that we can get into characters that we want to be emotional and emote, that are humanoid. Emotional and emote. What? Let me read this sentence again. I think what we've learned from Avatar is how much more facial nuance and subtlety that we can get into characters that we want to be emotional and emote that are humanoid. That's not a that's nothing, Landau said. That's like, did chat GP whatever write this? He went on, chat GT. He went on to explain that the first Alita would not have been possible without the first Avatar. Then the Avatar sequel would not have been possible without what the team learned from Alita. And now Avatar: The Way of the Water has paved the way for the creators to pick up where they left off and make Battle Angel 2. My guess is since Avatar 2 made like $1.5 billion, like $1 trillion, James Cameron's like, I'm making Alita 2. I'm letting him make it. You can't stop me because I'm a bank at this point. I own Disney at this point. Let's see. In a way, both franchises have been helping each other, blah, blah, blah. Okay, for those wondering if the original team would be back for Alita Battle Angel 2, Landau has a response to that question as well. Okay. Apparently, the folks at 20th Century Studios have been in talks with Robert Rodriguez, who directed the original, and Rosa Salazar, who played the titular character, and both are on board. As far as any other familiar faces will be back, Landau did not say. He also didn't comment on what the plot of the sequel would be about. In fact, it's likely that Alita Battle Angel 2 doesn't even have a solid plot in place yet. Exactly. As the project is still in the very early stages of development. Still, with Landau gearing up for a sequel and reeling in original players like Salazar and Rodriguez, things are looking good. Are they? I didn't think it even made money. The film cost $200 million to make and doubled its budget in theaters, bringing home a whopping $405 million. See, but I thought if a movie costs $200 million, you basically have to double that number for it to even start making money, because that $200 million doesn't count like the marketing costs and the theater's cut. I don't think this is spinning it in a very positive light. Let me see. Did Alita Battle Angel flop? The film grossed over 400, making it Rodriguez's grossing film. I'm seeing both. I'm seeing that it's a flop from some articles and some saying it's good. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I guess obviously it's enough for them to keep going with this train wreck. Let me get back to the article quick. They're just explaining what the plot is. There's no word yet on if Cameron will be penning the script, although likely Cameron won't be heavily involved as he's booked out for the next several years to complete Avatar. That's so sad. Meanwhile, Salazar should be free as a bird to begin production as soon as it's ready, as she only has one upcoming project, a drama called A Million Miles Away. Rodriguez, on the other hand, has a busy slate with 5 projects in the works, including a new Spy Kids movie, Spy Kids Armageddon. What? There's a news story within a news story. Okay, first off, that should be the bullet point. That should be the hammer drop, and that's how this whole article ends. Okay, Skylar, let me tell you something about SEO. Let me tell you something about web. If you have a bombshell like that you're going to put in the article, at least freaking link it to something. There's no link to IMDb. There's no link to another page on the website. What is going on? Let me see if there's any news on this. Rodriguez hints at Spy Kids Armageddon's release window. The reboot movie featuring Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez. What? How did I not know about this? It's been over a year since the Spy Kids reboot was announced by Netflix. Oh, God. It's a Netflix movie? During a press tour for his new movie, Hypnotic, Rodriguez talked to Collider. During the interview, the filmmaker revealed to our own editor, I don't care. Let's see. As we know, production wrapped back in September, so a 2023 release window would certainly be on the horizon. What? Why do I not know about this movie? Even though a fall release window seems promising for Spy Kids Armageddon, there is also the possibility that Netflix decides to hold the title for December. Okay. Bizarre. That's bizarre news. Spy Kids Armageddon. Okay, we got something fun now. We got some posters to do. Let's dive into movie posters, and I kind of took some time to set this up. This live stream, assuming the music, or the audio, I should say, works, and the camera works, and whatever. We'll get it where we want it eventually. But let's bring up the posters now. I'm going to scoot over this way a little bit. It's actually nice that I have the mic up here. Works out better. I don't have to move things around. Okay, anyways. Boom. I didn't want to show that one first. So already things are not where I want them to be. And that's odd because I had them all hidden by default. I don't want to start with that one. Hide. We're going to start with the black slate. Pretend you didn't see any of those because that's disappointing. I used to do a poster breakdown segment on, as just like videos. They didn't do particularly great. I know certain people really enjoy them because no one else does them on YouTube. They took a stupid amount of time to edit because I'm zooming in, I'm doing all sorts of like stupid shit in post, and there's no way to streamline that process. So for the amount of time it took, the lack of revenue I got, sometimes I would lose subscribers because it's not a movie review or rant. It had to go away. But, I'm a visual artist. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a web designer for a living and a web developer. Not that that's as relevant. So I do know things about visual design. I know what I'm talking about here. And I think that that's a fun thing to bring to the table once in a while. So on these live streams, I am going to do some poster breakdown stuff as a happy middle ground for people that want me to do them, but don't see those videos showing up. They're now a exclusive live stream feature. And the live streams are always available via that live tab on YouTube. Let's talk Fast and the Furious 10. It comes out in 2 weeks. Fast and the Furious 9 was a disaster. Hated it. I don't actually know anyone that likes Fast and the Furious 9. I really don't. I know people that I like some of them. I think they're kind of fun, dumb. But the last one was just so ridiculous. Anyway, let's get to the posters. I don't think Fast 10 is going to be good either. Maybe the poster will change my mind. Here we have the big group shot. This is a disaster. It's just a Photoshop collage. These are things that legitimately kids in high school can do pretty easily. What we are looking at here, folks, is a Photoshop file from hell. Lots of different layered elements sprinkled throughout. We have 14 floating heads on this poster. 14 floating heads on the upper half, above the folding line of this poster. Vin Diesel, Dom Loretto, or whatever the hell his name is, Dominic, fully front and center. People just ensconced. He's ensconced in people. Letty's in there somewhere. You have Aquaman on the right. And the big thing they're going for here is the X. They're all framed in the X. But look how lazy they are with this. It's just black above Vin Diesel's head. It's black on the corners. They couldn't do anything creative with that. At least in the bottom portion, they use the mountaintop to make the bottom of the X, where there's that cross in the middle. I noticed one of the big takeaways from the new Fast and the Furious 10, these posters, there's a cross in them. So is it because the X and then the cross? Is it because he's a man of faith? Is that going to have a bigger impact in the movie storyline? Is it because he's going to die in this one? I don't think he's going to die. I feel like Vin Diesel's ego is kind of like Dwayne Johnson's, where they don't want their characters to ever be killed off. He'll ride off into the sunset. The only way you're killing him in these movies is if his car is strapped to a rocket and it flies into a volcano and he like machine guns down 700 bad guys before igniting himself on fire and saying something cool. It's the only way this is happening. And it would be a Fast and Furious way to die. I'll give it that. Bottom half could really be from any of the Fast and the Furious movies, but ironically reminds me of only the first 2 or 3 of them where they actually did street racing. I think in the trailer they showed a small street racing section. I'm guessing it's going to be a very, very minimal part of this movie, the street racing. They're trying to tie it together, though. You have the beginnings at the bottom of the poster. You have what hopefully are the remains of what's left of this dying husk of a franchise, which continues to make a stupid amount of money. Yeah, very minimal effort on this poster. Some of the bottom characters, you can tell these were all just character shots from other things. They took them from different, whatever pieces of art they had. They probably had them all do a day of photo shoot, and they used them for different promotional pieces. The bottom half of these characters, though, they just did a classic fade. It's a very easy, it's a very easy thing to do in Photoshop or Illustrator. You just have an image mask over the top, and you just fade the image down to 0 opacity. So it just does a nice little transition into the clouds. It's a pretty lazy tactic, and it's clearly one of the tactics you use when the studio doesn't give a shit about movie posters, and you just have to throw something together for the movie poster. I see a super chat coming in from Internet Guy, $2. Fast and the Furious equals kind of movie you watch on a plane. Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Let's go to the next poster. Boom. And I will say right out of the gates, this one's not near as bad. Take a drink here. Let's ride. Let's ride. Remember the trailer for this new one? It's Let's Ride over and over. The end of the road begins. That's troubling. Are there more? Is there more coming out after Fast 10? Is this a double feature? Is this like Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, part 1 and part 2? Is Fast 10 leading into 11? Because when I read the end of the road begins, that's worrisome. Is this even from Fast 10, or is this a Fast 9 poster they repurposed? I feel like this was a Fast 9 poster, but these movies are all melting together. I can't keep heads or tails of any of it. If it is a Fast 10 poster, I see the 10 obviously at the bottom, but anybody can throw that on any poster ever. I could throw that on a Super Mario Brothers poster. There's the cross, though, so that makes me think that there's maybe a tie-in here. Dom has his cross wrapped around his hand. His knuckles are tight. He's in, I don't know, maybe he's on the toilet. Maybe he's actually praying for someone, the ghost of Paul Walker, to come back and put some energy and life and spirit into these movies again. That's what I'm thinking. As this poster stands, though, is it exciting? No. But if you're a Fast and the Furious fan and you... I really don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. And I can't imagine anyone that watches me is like a hardcore Fast and the Furious fan where you watch the movies and take them seriously. But there has to be a big portion of viewers that really do take these movies seriously and are concerned about the characters and love them all and think the plots and stuff are really strong, solid stories with real heart and genuine emotion and family. I think they're dumb as shit, and it's really lazy writing, and the characters can't really act. The actors can't really act. But, yeah, I don't know. This is a very serious poster for serious fans. Not something I'm interested in, but as far as, the render goes, it's a solid poster as far as a photo is concerned. You have nice light hitting Vin Diesel on the side, which gives a little bit of the, obviously a side profile. You have a nice contrast on the left side of his face, putting him in the shadows, giving him that stoic look, a look of a man apart, which I think is another movie he's in, A Man Apart. Pretty bad movie. Yeah, it's a nice photo, really, at the end of the day. The Fast X photo, though, is a big contrast here for me because it is lit up like it's a club. Fast X, you got the X is really extreme. It's got a bunch of lights on it. That makes me think fun, exciting, high-octane energy, but then you contrast it with the photo, and it doesn't mesh. If anything, they should have just made that a solid white color, knock out the Fast, so that's just an outline, or the Fast is in white and you just trace the X white and leave it all black inside and fade it. Have it very light on the poster because it just doesn't work with the font and everything. It goes against this entire look and feel. Let's move on. All right. So these are character posters. I grabbed two of them. You have Jason Statham I don't know if he's Hobbs or Shaw, one of them. And Brie Larson, who's a new character. I don't know who she is. She's probably related to one of them somehow. So stupid. These posters are trash. They're just so silly. But I don't put much stock into character posters. They're just there to get people excited to see their heroes. A lot of times they're thrown together last second. Look at the hands on these. They're clearly not their hands. They're just, if they are, they're really bizarre. They're really bizarrely put on there. I don't even know how she's holding the steering wheel like this. Looks uncomfortable. I know that she's back further, but still, she's putting it in the, 12-point position, really locking it in. She's a safe driver. Got some green silhouette behind her. It comes off the hand a little bit on the side and the steering wheel, which ties it in. But why? Why green? Why? What does that mean? What is that telling me? And then there's a different green, blue, more of a blue over here. It's really hitting the side of his face hard. And then there's another really strong light source coming in from the other side of the window. So he's really getting hit by two contrasting colors. Is there a nuclear explosion happening outside that window that's causing that greenish color? What is going on? Is it a radiation spill? And why is it regular light coming off the other side? Is it just a really bright day outside? He's driving away from a toxic landfill. It's just kind of puzzling to me what I'm supposed to get from this poster outside of, okay, it's Jason Statham and Brie Larson. This one's really bad. The hand just does not look good here. She probably has small hands. It very well could be her hand, but it looks photoshopped to hell and back. Everything about this looks unnatural. Everything about this is awful. Really. And that's it. That's the poster breakdown for the Fast 10. That's all they had. They only had the two posters. There was a foreign poster, but there really was nothing exciting to say about it. So I'm just kind of leaving it out of here. Hope you enjoyed the more freestyle approach to breaking down the posters. This'll just live here in the live. I could maybe cut it up and put it into an episode, but I don't think so. I think it's nice to have these one-on-one conversations and let it sit. There's enough to edit already. I have a lot to edit, which we should go into next. That'll be kind of the wind down. If you have any questions and you'd like to throw a super chat in there, I would appreciate it. So get super chats out now so that by the time I'm done rambling, I can look and say, okay, we got questions. Let's go. What was I going to say? Okay, movies that I have coming up. Upcoming videos. I have a Patreon request that's coming out. I already filmed it. It's about a movie called I Can Only Imagine. It's based on the story of a Christian rock singer named Bart. His upbringing, the sadness that he went through, the trials and tribulations. It's a very feel-goodery story. It's definitely religious heavy. But yeah, I went in thinking I was going to roll my eyes really hard, and that's not quite the impression I got when I was done with it. I'll just leave it there. Leave a little tease. It came out in 2018. I'll leave it there. The review will be out in a couple days. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I actually did a spoiler review on that several days back, and I just have not had time to edit it yet. I know I'm kind of missing the boat, but really, nothing comes into theaters this week outside of a Ben Affleck movie, which I've liked all of his movies, so I would like to get to see it. I'm just not sure I will be able to on Thursday or Friday. I think my family and I have plans to go do some fun stuff. So we'll see how things shake out. I'd like to get to it and review it, but I don't know if I'll have time. But there is a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 spoiler review coming out soon. What else do I have that I filmed? The podcast will be on Monday. I think that's it right now. I was gonna go over one other thing that was really funny. I put out a video earlier today, which is doing decently well, on the Little Mermaid live action movie early reviews. These are things I've been doing a couple times in the past. I'm trying to do them more because I don't get early access to movies like a lot of critics do. For one, I just don't know who to contact. Two, I live in South Carolina now. There's like no theaters by me, and I don't think they do any live premieres. Those are more for like Texas and California, New York, and bigger states. South Carolina doesn't get shit. I'm lucky I get to see movies here at all. Really moved to a non-ideal state for movie stuff. Really didn't think that went through. It was all for the weather and the ocean, though. Regardless, the idea is to piggyback off of other critics that do get early access. So basically, I just react to the Rotten Tomatoes score. If I think the movie critic is being fair or just, even though I haven't seen the movie, it's more or less just a guess or a feel that I get from their review, and then just doing a little commentary on it. It's all for fun and games. Anyway, Little Mermaid comes out, the reviews, and this is definitely one of those films, kind of like Captain Marvel, kind of like Black Adam, kind of like, pretty much every high-profile movie. There's always a little bump of reviews that go up by these critics on Twitter that you've never even heard of before, or at least I haven't for the most part, who praise the movie up and down, give like a tame little critique to make it look like they're not completely biased or they're trying to keep their presser from Disney. It's just so disingenuous. And so I read these off, and I'm getting hounded now by people in the YouTube comments, and occasionally a tweet will come at me saying that I'm obviously I'm racist and I'm biased, and I just don't like Disney or whatever they want to paint me as. And I understand that there is a preconceived notion, right? I fall into, unfortunately, a really shitty demographic now of critics on YouTube. I am a middle-aged white guy. That used to be an okay thing, but middle-aged white guys have kind of ruined it for us normal, decent ones, because I've talked about them before, but there's a whole section of assholes now that do outrage videos nonstop, talking about things being woke, Disney sucks, blah, 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 blah. And they just beat it into the ground. Even if they have a point, even if they had a point, which they often do, it's just destroyed because this is their bread and butter. And I could easily be, it's so funny because people that watch them and enjoy their stuff, I know there's a lot of overlap. Fine, whatever. No judgment, I guess. You like to hear people rant. That's fine. They'll say to me, their fans will say to me, Adam, if you went down this avenue and became one of these guys that you don't like, you'd make a killing. You'd do great. I find that so bizarre. Like, so you realize what they're doing, you realize the grift they're playing, and you're just like, go for it. It's frustrating. I'm just a guy that likes movies. I will call out crap though when I see it. And so the thing that bothered me about Little Mermaid, these early reviews, was it was just such bullshit. It was like, oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's not quite as good as the original, but Halle Berry's great. And you know, it's just a wonderful time for the family. And then they throw out a water pun or two or three, and I roll my eyes into the back of my head thinking, what a pointless praising. You couldn't even say it's better than the original, which is what most of us that don't like this have been saying since the beginning of these live action movies. Just why? Disney owns the cartoon classics, and they're just taking them and repurposing them. I got in a little bit of a debate with someone in the comments, and they said, video games do this, and no one gives a crap about that. Well, they actually do. Video games, yes, do this a lot, and sometimes there's pushback because it's unneeded, it's undeserved, it's unjust, and a lot of times it's like cool because video games in just a few years jump dramatically in quality. Plus, it's still in the same vein as the original typically. So a Resident Evil gets made based on the original, from 10, 15 years ago. It gets a giant upgrade in the graphics department. Typically, they clean up the voice work, keep it the same. The spirit of the original's still there. The controls are often the same, maybe tweaked a little bit to be more modernized. But for the most part, everything is still how you remember it, just looks prettier. With these live action movies, you're going from one medium, 2D animation, to a completely different medium. Now you're this quasi CG shitfest with live action people. You've already separated yourself fully from what it used to be, and now you're in a totally different boat. Pun intended for Little Mermaid. And it never works. It always comes off as this just sorry, lesser version. The reason people like game remakes is almost every single aspect of the game has improved substantially. From the voice work, to the visuals, to the controls, to the ability to pause a game or save a game anywhere and not have to go back 20 minutes to an earlier save point. You know what I'm saying? With the live action movies, usually the soul's gone. The wonderful, colorful animation is replaced by this dreary, mucky garbage. The actors seem half-assing it. And then they still take a lot of the same music and shots from the originals and butcher them. So why are we celebrating this? And I get if you're a kid, this was the other part of it that I thought was hilarious. Someone said, oh, yay, another cringy review from a middle-aged critic. Oh, of a kid's movie. It was, oh, yay, I can't wait to hear from another cringy middle-aged guy on a kid's movie. Yeah, those are the people that review movies. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't consist of a kids department to review The Little Mermaid. I'm sorry. You have middle-aged guys and women and older reviewing kids movies because we look at things and say, I mean, a lot of us, at least this is what I try to do when I review a movie. Who's the target audience? Is it going to work for them? I give my personal thoughts, but I also say this is how it's going to be. For The Little Mermaid, here's my review already. I don't give a crap. I don't really like the original Little Mermaid. It's fine. She's an idiot in it. She trades her voice for a pair of legs because she falls in love with a guy at first sight in the middle of a storm. She's a moron. This new version, I'm guessing, is going to modernize it, make Ariel less of a dipshit. Cool, fine. But I don't really care about the story at all. So I will go into this movie with the mindset that, all right, I'm not in it for me. Our family's going to like it. Are their kids going to like it? And spoiler alert, yeah, they are. Because they like this stuff. So Little Mermaid review. It looks worse than the classic. It's a shot-for-shot remake a lot of the time. It's soulless. The energy's down. Your kids are going to probably like it. Your parents are probably going to like it if they went to pay money and see it because they want to escape and go. Does that make it good? No, it doesn't. It makes it a 2-hour get-out-of-jail-free card for the folks. Get their kids out of the house for a little bit. That's all it means. Could Disney have replaced The Little Mermaid with literally anything else creatively and gotten an applause from me? Yeah, they could have. They could have said, this is a brand new movie. It might work. I don't know. I know it's crazy, but to them, it's so much easier to drop a decent amount of money and redo something that you know works. You spice things up, you switch a gender, you switch a race, you get the world freaking out about it, even though it's a dumbass kid story. Who cares? But you get the far right, the far left butting heads because everything's become politicized. And yes, movies have always been political. They've always had messages, always. But now the conversation around them has also become politicized, and that's the problem. And everybody feeds off of everybody on this. These guys get outraged. These guys get outraged. The company just takes it all in because all news is good news to them. Anyway, that's my long ramble on The Little Mermaid. I think it's funny when people are in the comments, calling me whatever they want to call me. It's just like, dude, I'm a pretty damn progressive person. I don't care that Halle Bailey is black. She actually looks like the best part in this shitty movie. She's a smoke show, and she can clearly sing. She looks fantastic. Good for her. I'm sorry that she was put into this, another live action Disney remake. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's great. My instincts tell me otherwise because I saw The Lion King. I saw Beauty and the Beast. I saw Aladdin. They were not very good. Lion King sucked. Straight up sucked. Beauty and the Beast, meh. Aladdin, eh. But they have those golden classics, right? Why screw them up? Why screw with them? You know what would have been awesome? I know there's some super chats coming in. I appreciate it, but I'm on a little bit of a rant tirade here. What if they would have just done 2D again with them? So this goes back to the video game thing. And I think this absolutely would have worked with the movies. You take a movie like The Little Mermaid. You update the animation quality. You keep it 2D, or maybe it's a 2D, 3D hybrid, something like Into the Spider-Verse. But retain that classic look of The Little Mermaid, but use modern animation. The voices can stay the same. Clean the voices up. You don't need to change shit there, just clean it up. Make those colors pop even more. Put it in widescreen. Add more textures to the scenes. Add more animation, But bump that FPS up if you need to. Really go for broke on these 2D films and bring them into the modern. I think that would have been awesome. I don't think many people would have been upset with that. Not like they are with these. Whatever. They're not going to do that. That would be too much effort and work. All right, let's go to the Super Chat Q&A real quick. See what we got. Matt Sclaro. What are your Water Wars movies about? Would you make them available on Patreon? Matt, they are... Oh yeah, so they are available on YouTube, but they're probably blocked everywhere because I have so many copyright songs. There's Bon Jovi, there's The Wallflowers, there's just random music. There's probably 5 songs in each one, ranging from, hits on the radio to orchestral songs you'd hear in like The Matrix Reloaded. So they are available technically on YouTube, but you won't be able to search and find them, I guess, now that I think about it. Yes, Matt, to answer your question, I will absolutely make them available on Patreon at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. And for YouTube join members, that will probably be one I'll put at maybe the second tier, $4.99 tier. The $1 tier already gets access to 300 exclusive videos. Let's give people that are paying the $5 a month and over a little bit more, something to wet their beak. So what you're getting, Matt, what you're getting from Water Wars, the anthology 4-film collection. Water Wars 1, I'm a villain in it. My brother is the hero. Water Wars 2, well, let's just break down what these are. Water Wars, these are 45-minute videos shot over the course of 2 to 3 days with a little bit of pickup here and there. We made them when we were right out of high school, so you can already assume the quality's great. They have been converted and reconverted several times, so there is a definite loss of quality on these things. They're in 4:3 aspect ratio. Am I whetting your appetite yet with all this? I think they're in 4:3 aspect ratio, unless I at some point blew them up to 16:9, which would have degraded them even more. But anyway, the plot is simple. My brother Jake, keep in mind we are around 17 years old, which is to play into the stupidity of this whole thing. Jake and I are obsessed with Water Wars. It's a game that's been in the works for a long time, where you have teams of 3 battling each other for glory, essentially. So a bunch of different groups of 3 players take on another group of 3 players. It's a 3v3 tournament. When one team's out, another one comes in. My team has been on top for many years because I'm cutthroat. I don't give up. It's an all-out water war duel. There's water balloons getting thrown. There's, hand-to-hand with water guns. And essentially, it's just when someone is soaking wet and doesn't have the will to go on, when they drop to the ground and they're just tagged out, they're out. Once all 3 people are out, the other team wins. It's incredibly over the top. It parodies some different movies here and there. And it's just a silly, stupid ride. We made 4 of them. I would love to actually... I've been wanting to for a very long time pitch a Water Wars show to Netflix or someone and write an actual solid script that would mirror like how things are today. Keep the spirit of Water Wars. Make it something that's family friendly. Something that parents and kids can both appreciate, because I look around at what's on TV and I don't see any of that at all anywhere anymore. You get shows like the Goldbergs that were decent for a couple seasons, and I can't even think of anything else lately. The Middle was pretty fun for a while, but even those shows, they just didn't have the energy that I'm looking for. But that's Water Wars. Water Wars 2 is Snow Falls. Unfortunately, I live in Minnesota, so it's winter 7 months out of the year. It's miserable. We played off of that. And then I decided every Water Wars movie is going to follow one of the seasons. So there's 4 of them: a summer, a winter, a spring, and a fall. And they all have a pun for the title because that's how I roll. There's Water Wars. There's Water Wars 2 Snow Falls. Falls like waterfalls, and also because snow falls. Water Wars 3, Cross Tides. The villain in that is Jesse Cross. And of course, Cross Tides is a term. And then the final one, Water Wars Dried Waves. Because we bring in Nerf dry weapons into that one. And of course, the waves again. That one's not as creative, but whatever. They're fun times. There's a lot to glean from them, I think, Matt. So yes, I will get those movies onto Patreon, on YouTube Join as well, at the $5 and up tier, $4.99 and up tier, whatever it is on YouTube. I can't remember. Thank you for asking. This was a long answer. Internet Guy for a $2 super chat. Can you review Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai? Internet Guy, if you're unaware, I mean, no, first off, absolutely not. Unless it's, there's a mithril tier on YouTube Join and on Patreon. It's $30 a month, and you can request a movie, and I have to watch it, review it, give you a shout out on it. You might have seen some of the Patreon reviews come and go. You might not know what they were. You probably didn't watch them because you're like, why is he doing a review on insert random fucking movie here? But anytime you see a random movie like Hard Candy get reviewed or Mulholland Drive, it's because that was requested to me from a Patreon at the Mithril level. If you stay at the Mithril level for an entire 12 months, you get up to 4 movie requests. It used to be once a month. I couldn't keep up with the demand. You can ask Matt. He was upset with me. Cats is on the list, Matt. It's on there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 before you, Matt. And I'm doing 2 a week. I'm trying to. So really just 3 more weeks and we'll get Cats on that list. Wind River I've seen. The Lobster I've seen. So a couple of these I only have to do like quick refreshes. That's nice. If you want to hear what's coming up on the Patreon, this will be the last thing I'll say if no more super chats come in. I will quickly read off my list. So Internet Guy, thank you for the question. If you become a Mithril member, I will review Buckaroo Banzai. Sorry, it's getting late. I haven't had much of this Coke. Okay, here's the upcoming list. I can only imagine, which we'll have out probably tomorrow. Life Force. Never heard of it. Deadstream. Never heard of it. Okay, this one I have to do a poll on. Either Evil Dead 2013, which I haven't seen, or Jennifer's Body with Megan Fox, which I have seen and would gladly watch again for several reasons. I'm going to do a poll on that one, though. It's between those two. I would really like to see Evil Dead 2013. 3 Idiots. Haven't seen. The Lobster. Zulu. Wind River. Cats. Awakenings. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I have seen that as well. So I've seen 3 of these. Mallrats. Never seen Mallrats. And Thunderbirds Are Go. And The Polar Express. And I believe 1 or 2 more have come in that I haven't written down yet. I haven't jotted down yet. All right. Well, there you go. That's the live tonight. That's a rough list. Yeah. It's a list. And there's supporters, so it is what it is. That's the live stream. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support. Look for the next couple videos to be, I can only imagine, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then if I get to a movie on, it won't be Thursday, Friday. Matt, you said you could maybe go Friday. I don't know if that's still on the table or not. I have to see what's going on here, but Friday night might work. Oh, Internet Guy has one more $2 super chat. Here's another $2. This earns me a movie review. Does it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Internet Guy, you've given $10 so far. I don't think that that's very fair to the people that give $30 for a movie review. One dude on here gave $100 to review. What was that guy's name? Gumo. It was Gumo, I think. He gave $100 to review Pumping Iron, which was so random. But yeah, you can do that as well. Pumping Iron. He did that one other time. I think I reviewed 2 movies for him. I can't remember. Regardless, stream is probably out. Matt says Friday works for the movie. Okay, well, don't hold me to that yet. Let me ask the boss, aka my wife, aka social media strategist, Lindsay, what the plans are. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast, by the way, and the on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I think it's called. Yeah, got to get those numbers up, because then I can make pennies on there from ad revenue eventually, and that's the dream, of course. It's all about simping for coins. Man, I wish I was a 20-year-old girl, 20-year-old woman. I guess that would be how easy it would be on the internet now. On that note, ring the bell, ring the notification bell. Thank you, Bubba, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.